Hi, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Illuminating Conversations. And I couldn't be happier to have Marcus Prater here with us today. Marcus, as many of you know, is the Executive Director of the Association of Gaming Equipment Manufacturers. Really, it's the voice of the gaming manufacturers globally. And so happy to have you with us here today, Marcus.
Very pleased, James, to be with you as well.
If you could pick one thing over the last 13 years, what's been the biggest change in terms of what you've been able to do and your teams have been able to do at AGEM?
I would say the one thing is really the global growth of the supplier sector and the gaming industry overall. I mean, if you think about when AGEM was formed in 2000, it was literally IGT, Valley, WS, and Aristocrat. And certainly we were fighting over slot machine market share. But since then, and then in the last 13 years that I've been the executive director, the global market for gaming technology has really exploded. There's new technology opportunities. There's certainly new players in the game. And so from the humble beginnings of AGEM with 4 companies to where we're at today is a sign that the global gaming market has needed new technologies and new participants in the space.
You've grown now from 4 companies and now there's more than enough to share. How many companies do you have now currently in AGEM, and what is the geographical reach? Are they from all over the world? And
yes,
how is your member companies made up?
So we started with original 4, and I was at Valley, and I represented Valley at AGEM in those early days. And then when I left Valley in 2007, I took over as executive director in spring of 2008, and we had 32 companies as members. And at our peak earlier this year, in March, we had 190. Now, we did waive all the membership dues for all the members last year during the pandemic, so we didn't have nobody left during the pandemic. We're currently at 174 from a high of 190, and they are from 22 different countries.
Wow.
And so we're clearly global. That was a big part of my focus early on, was to try to get some of the companies like a Novamatic. Obviously, when Novamatic joined, that was a milestone event because it caught the attention of all the other European suppliers and so forth. So we're truly global. We tackle global issues in any regulated market in the world. And the participation we get from our members certainly is global as well.
What would you tell me as a new company? Why join AGEM? Well, what are you going to help me with?
I think from a big picture, sort of philosophical standpoint, the strength in numbers is true in that in our world, what's good for one is usually good for all, meaning that we have regulatory standards and rules that everyone must follow, no matter which jurisdiction you're in. So it's not like one company, by changing a reg, one company typically doesn't get a benefit. All the companies get the benefit. But I think my biggest pitch is that you have access to starting with regulators. I mean, when it comes time to modernizing a regulation in a particular jurisdiction, when we as AGEM sort of pick up the phone and approach a regulator, they want to listen to us. They want to sit with us. They want to talk about, what the future holds. And so the tangible benefit is it gets you a seat at the table. And that is going on now with a couple of projects in Nevada. It's gone on historically in many other jurisdictions. And so if you want to move your business forward from a technology standpoint, new products, new games, new anything, having AGEM get you in the door with a regulator pays big dividends.
Not every issue has unanimity amongst all of your member companies. How do you, Marcus, because you're the executive director, right? So all the roads sort of start and stop with you on a day-to-day basis, obviously. How do you manage where people might not be aligned or all on the same page? Do you go forward with that issue, or do you put it aside and only work on things that you are aligned with? Or how
No, that's a great question. I would say that, again, in 90% of the projects we've worked on over the years, there has been a unanimous focus to them, for sure. But when I raised, I'd say some, I don't know, 9 months ago or so, I raised the issue of the cashless gaming, the payment modernization idea, and I said to the officers of AGEM, there's 8 officers who serve as an executive committee. I said, hey, do we have a strategy at AGEM to push this cashless initiative? Obviously, the American Gaming Association had made this payment modernization one of the pillars of their focus for this year, et cetera. And to be honest with you, the reaction I got from our officers was, we don't have a uniform consensus on this topic. We're each scrambling to do our own thing. Let's let it play out without AGEM getting involved. Now, having said that, certainly AGEM is on the record as a whole of being supportive of payment modernization and new technologies and so forth. And so that this is all playing out. Some of our members are going down one path, others are going down another. There's no conflict, but this is one where the companies, the bigger companies, decided, let's go it alone.
So let's just stay on that topic of cashless gaming.
Yeah.
Cashless is obviously huge because of the pandemic has pulled all the technology forward. Where do you see it going long term? How do you think it's going to be 3 to 5 years down the line from here?
Yeah, well, I think that our industry has always lagged behind traditional industries because of the regulatory framework we have to live with. And it is encouraging to see a property like Resorts World here in Las Vegas open up with every new bell and whistle you can imagine. And frankly, it's a little complicated for me. I'm not an engineering guy, but when I read the Resorts World press release about systems and cashless and marketing promotions, and all those different companies had to come together with their individual solutions, and they all kind of had to talk to each other from a technology standpoint. And so it proves that this kind of effort can be done. You can theoretically now take some of these new toys that Resorts World gets to use, which includes cashless, which includes even like cryptocurrency, not in gaming, but using it for paying for your, I guess, your hotel bill or whatever. But those kinds of things and the support the control board in Nevada provided to get those things approved provides a roadmap, perhaps, for other properties to upgrade. And so, to answer your question, I don't know how far we can push this in 3 to 5 years in terms of I mean, certainly, like, credit cards and debit cards, those things are very sensitive from a statute, regulation, and responsible gaming standpoint. So we need to tread around some of these issues, work through them. But I do see a casino of the future where the idea of counting cash and all the burdens associated with that will go away. I do think people want to use their phone.
And we were really involved with Resorts World. Our lab got to help them integrate everything together. And you're right, all these companies actually coming together and working together was one of our largest projects that we did during the pandemic. And real happy to work with the Nevada and work with Resorts World. We're real pleased to do that. The other big thing that you're working on is educating legislators across the country about unregulated, I'll dare say illegal, some would say gray, but games that are looking like slot machines, playing like slot machines, are not regulated. No one's paying tax on them. They're illegal, but prosecutors aren't prosecuting it because either gaps in laws or because prosecutorial discretion is like we have a lot of other things to do. I know you've been also working with the AGA on this as well. Talk to us a little bit about what your aims and your goals are with this whole essentially illegal, shadow gaming market.
I would call unregulated gaming perhaps the single greatest threat to our regulated industry, both from the operator side as well as the supplier side. These companies that create these so-called skill games and other semi-amusement games, they get a foothold in a state like a Pennsylvania, like a Missouri, and once they're in, trying to get them out is very difficult. And there's no question that the Pennsylvania commercial casinos, the Missouri casinos, the lotteries associated in those states and many others are dramatically impacted by these machines being so available in corner markets, convenience stores, fraternal halls. They'll put them wherever they can. And the problem is as you pointed out, they don't provide any. They certainly don't provide some sort of tax base. They don't provide any integrity when it comes to a GLI certified game. When it comes to payback percentages, there's no responsible gaming component. I mean, there's kids who can access these games, and frankly, the people behind the games, they've never gone through any regulatory scrutiny. And so, they're not our finest people, and they're not our finest businesses, and yet they have a huge impact on our regulated market. And so, it's a whack-a-mole game. It's hard to stop them, but through the efforts of AGEM, the AGA, GLI, Kevin Mullally's white paper is a definitive document that outlines the impact, the crime, the money laundering, the tricks they play in the courts. Once they get a court case that deems their software illegal or not allowed, then they take that and then they revamp the software to conform, and then they have to take them back to court again and again and again.
Have you been making progress on a legislative front?
Yeah.
Prosecutorial front?
Well, it's difficult. We don't have AGEM itself. It doesn't have the money or the staff to go after every one of these. But I think Virginia is an example where we did win. The machines are being removed as we speak. The deadline to get them out or to start getting them out was July 1st. We lobbied, AGEM lobbied the entire legislative body of Virginia. So did the AGA. Sent letters, we created this unregulated gaming machine fact sheet so that legislatures don't get fooled by the nonsense that these companies are perpetuating. Oh, these games are just amusement games, skill games, blah, blah, blah. It's all baloney. And we're outnumbered. Like in Virginia, I believe the offensive machine company had like 6 or 8 lobbyists there every day. Right. And here I am trying to fight it with like a fly swatter in Vegas. Now, we're making progress. I don't pretend to think we're going to get rid of them entirely in a matter of, weeks or months, but we got to stay focused as an industry. It's critical.
AGEM does a lot for its members, but I don't think a lot of people know about the community impact that you have been trying to do. And GLI and AGEM, we have a pleasure of working together. We came up with this lasting impact philanthropic initiative. Suppliers want to give back. GLI has been trying to give back. What role should that philanthropy play in the gaming industry? And just talk a few minutes about some of the things that we've been doing or you've been doing.
Yeah, we have an obligation. I do think that AGEM's a nonprofit. We're not here to make money, hoard money. We're honored to work with GLI. You guys are committed to doing the right thing. And so by partnering together and identifying worthwhile initiatives that again have a lasting impact over time, it's just good business. I like working with good people who have good hearts, and this initiative clearly qualifies.
And I know that the UNLV
Yep.
initiative, where I know that AGEM members and GLI feels very strongly that we educate computer science and engineering people, because
Yes.
God knows we need to hire them as quickly as we can. And I know we partnered on that. Education is very important, not only there, but on the Problem Gambling Center.
Yeah, so the UNLV School of Engineering, our initiative is $500,000 over a multi-year period.
Right.
And the legislature here in Nevada this past session, earlier this year, did allocate the necessary funds for them to break ground next year.
And build
there's
the entire building.
no question. See, this is perfect. The lasting impact. We're investing in the future of engineering, and that will pay off for our members who need engineers.
And if many other people did not support that, it wouldn't have gotten the ball rolling, and the dean there would have probably, it would have been harder fundraise and a harder lift. I also know that we got together and we did a Native American War Memorial at the Smithsonian in Washington D.C. and so obviously the philanthropy that you're looking at is not only in Las Vegas, but we're looking at, or you're looking with us at global areas. Any of our audience wants to get more information on the GLI and AGEM's lasting impact, you can go to agemglimpact.org and see the kinds of things that we do. That's agemglimpact.org. Marcus, what is something most people don't know about you that you wish they actually did?
I'm a single father with two boys, and I'm trying to get them. My oldest is a junior in college. My youngest is a senior in high school. So most people don't know that I'm trying to get a couple of good boys out the door to adulthood, right. And so I spend a great deal of energy doing that. And happy to do it. I'm not looking for extra credit.
What do you do for fun?
Well, I guess golf is my passion, and I'm telling you, it has saved my mental, mood during the pandemic. I mean, basically, when my oldest was at college, I just had my youngest son and I at home, and I would go to the golf course. He would do online school. I basically get my AGEM work done, go play 18, come home, get back to AGEM, take care of my kids. But without golf during the pandemic, I think I'd be going
a little stir crazy. What does leadership mean to you, or leadership mean to AGEM? What is leadership?
You set by example. I mean, I think that you can't do it just one day. You do it every day. Everything you do is committed to doing the right thing. And while if you start a new job, it may take a period of time for people to recognize that. But for those of us who have been around in gaming quite a while, I guess this is my 28th year. I started with Ameristar Casinos in 1993, and so doing the right thing and leading by example. With ethics and positivity, and I think leadership is how you act in front of both your superiors and then your peers and then the people that may report to you. And so just leading by example in terms of behavior and doing things the right way.
Well said, and I think great advice for not only anybody in business, but certainly the youngest generation that's now stepping into the gaming industry as they start progressing through, understanding that everybody's watching you. You only have one reputation, and you have to make sure that you take care of it. And by doing something good things every single day, you will be noticed and you will progress in this industry.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Marcus, for joining us in this installment of Illuminating Conversations. Great to see you, and we all will look forward to seeing you at G2E this year.
Well, thank you, James, and thanks to GLI and your whole team. And yes, I want to see some friendly faces here in a short period of time when G2E rolls around.
And it's about time we all get together as it is.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking
Yes,
forward.
sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much again.
Thank you.